to the Cynthia Linox Show. I am your host, Cynthia Linox, here to remind you that this is the best season of your life. Now, when I say the best season of your life, I hope you realize that it's really up to you. It doesn't just happen by osmosis. It doesn't happen, you don't get up and just say, oh, this is the best season of my life. For it to be the best season of your life, you have got to have a mindset, a mentality, thoughts that are set in your mind of thriving. Instead of striving, you are thriving. That when you are thriving, it means that you are prospering, you are advancing, you are developing, you are um, living in abundance. And again, it starts in your mind. Whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you wish, whatever goals you have, think in terms of thriving. It's interesting. Years ago, I used to work, this is before I was married. I used to work in this organization and I used to teach a class on prosperity. And during that time, it was one of the most, well, yeah, the most challenging times in my life, financially challenging. And here I am teaching a class on prosperity, teaching principles of prosperity and how we are created to prosper and so forth. And at the end of the class, I had few students come up to me and ask me to help them because they were uh striving. They were having a hard time, they were having financial difficulties, and here I am. I'm in the midst of that, but I was teaching with such fervor, vigorously. I mean, I had a vitality, I had a conviction, strong knowing about prospering and living in abundance and just thriving. And I used to teach with the same passion and enthusiasm that I have now. But I was in the middle of striving. I wasn't really thriving in the natural, in what demonstrable evidence. Well, let's put it this way. The way I carried myself and the way I presented my class and so forth, the teaching that I did, it you would never know. And it wasn't because I was um, being fake or anything. It's just that my mind, even back then, was so convinced, was so persuaded. I knew the principles of prosperity and success and an abundant life and so forth. As a matter of fact, I had a financial advisor. Actually, she was a friend, just that she managed her finances in such a way that was admirable and she always kept it in check. My thing was, I think I had lost my job and I wasn't, set up. They say you have to be set up like a year to, you know, in your savings and investments, whatever, to carry you out, to see you out in case of emergency. Well, I didn't have that. And so I needed to get rid of my debts and get rid of just get myself in order. And so we sat and determined my monthly expenses and so forth, based on my income at the time and so forth. And so we're here doing this whole list of my expenses and my income and so forth. And one of the things that I indicated was a miscellaneous funds. And she looked at me and she laughed. I said, well, what's the problem? She said, you don't even have enough to cover your expenses. And you're talking about a miscellaneous funds. A miscellaneous fund. She said, what is that for? I'm like, you know, eating out, travel and entertainment, and so forth. And she just thought I was crazy. Needless to say, she did not include that in the whole planning for me. So then I did not have a miscellaneous fund. But that's the way my mind was set. My mind was set that I must have set aside some funds for things like entertainment, fun, pleasure, go out to eat and and just have fun. even though I was in a situation that was financially challenging, but my mind was so set. That's why teaching that class was so successful, because it was convincing. I knew I wasn't trying to persuade people to think this way. I knew that that was the lifestyle that we are created to live. And it's interesting because today, or it's been a long time ago, I do have a miscellaneous fund account, and also an account for travel and entertainment. It was something that always was set in my mind. I just knew you have to have a miscellaneous fund for fun and travel and entertainment, so that you can, build those accounts. So when you're ready to travel or go out to eat, or, buy a gift for someone or whatever, that money is there for use. So those were things that was a thought that was just lodged, galvanized in my mind. I just knew, because my whole idea for living, my friend, is not just to exist, to get up, work, pay bills, come home, watch TV, go back to sleep. That is not my idea. We always have to be, thriving, thriving for abundance. And if you think there's anything wrong with that, then that's not for you. You have, freedom to think the way you think. But my idea uh, is that we are created, we were born to thrive in life. And all of it has to do with the thoughts that are set in your mind. Now, in order for you to have that type of mentality, that type of thinking, you have to think of yourself as deserving. You have to know that you deserve to have a life that thrives, prospers and abundance and just increase and so forth, and being able to do the things that brings you not just joy, but happiness and pleasure. That you must know that, not believe that. You must know that. When I share these things, I'm not talking about a belief system, because again, if you look it up and if you're honest with yourself, you know that to believe something is because you're not sure. And there's a little bit of doubt, you're not sure. When I say no, it's about, things that are verifiable, they're proof. And yeah, there is proof that you are created to prosper. The people that are prospering and the people that are rich and wealthy and so forth, they're no different from you. They're no different than you. They are people just like you. It's just that their mindset is totally um is set on thriving. That's why you hear this term, the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. It all has to do with our mindset. And the thing that I find interesting is that I said earlier, or just now, I just said that you have to know that you are deserving. You're deserving to uh, prosper, to be rich, to live in abundance, to have the things that you want, to be able to provide for your family the way you desire, to give your kids the best education and just the best life ever. Every parent wants that for their children. So it's nothing that is foreign. It's a desire that we all have, and you are entitled to that. But it's up to you. You don't wait for a handout. Just know that you have the ability, the tools, and the resources to an abundant life. You just have to know how to use it. But the thing that sometimes hinders people and holds us back is that society or social construct or cultural construct sometimes teaches us things that are contrary to prosperity. You hear things like the love of money is the root of all evil. Well, I don't know how you interpret that, but we work for money, and a lot of people, they work overtime and, double time and triple time and on their days off. And why is that? Because they want to make more money. They want more income, or they either want or need, to do the things they have to do, plus a little extra. And especially if you have kids, again, most parents want to provide the best life for their family. And that's no different with you. I am sure that whatever you're doing, whatever job you are involved in, you're giving it your best. And if opportunity presents itself, guess what? You're going to want an increase. You're going to want a promotion, and you can strive for that. Strive, work diligently, not strive. The word strive to me has somewhat of a negative connotation, because it seems like you have to like really force and just try to aggressively go after it. No, it's your mindset that can create the things. You can think in terms of money, liquid cash, or you can think in terms of resources. Personally, I think in terms of resources, because life has it to where a lot of great things come to us. A lot of surprises just come to us. Big ones, little ones. Is like I shared this week on Facebook. I put a post. I went to the store to get some feathers, because I wanted to uh, use for accent in my decor at home. And I picked up a bunch of feathers. There were just about 4 or 5 in the bin, and the one that I picked up did not have the price tag on it. So I get to the register, and I could have gone and self checkout, but then I realized I didn't have that one. Did not have the price, because it was torn off. But I knew how much it was. It was like 14.99 for that set. So the lady that was standing there, the young lady, she said, I said, I'm sure you can look this up. I said, I know this one doesn't have the price, but it was the best looking of the bunch. And so I picked this one. You could look it up on your screen, because they're 14.99. And she looked at it, and she looked at me, she smiles, and she said, you know what? I'm going to pretend that I did not even hear you tell me the price of this. So I'm going to have to ring it up at 99 cents. Now, because I think in terms of resources, that was a resource that came to me. I was prepared to pay 14.99 plus tax, and it turned out to be $1.07. She says, you owe me $1.07. And for this pack of feathers, that's what I paid, $1.07. And again, I was prepared to pay 14.99, because I wanted it. I had the money to pay, and that's what I wanted. But so when you think in terms of resources, things come into your life. Somebody may hand you a ticket for, I don't know, a trip to Paris, because they can't go. Something of that nature. Things always in our lives, that happens all the time. So I think in terms of resources, and whatever works for you, that's what I encourage you to do. If you think only in terms of money, finances, and you want to have the money, the liquid cash to be able to do the things that you want, and that's good too, because I don't just think of situations happening. That is by default happens. But as far as increases in finances and economics and so forth, yeah, of course, I think in those terms, thrive to thrive in life. But one of the things that I noticed, so society, social construct, sometimes frown when you talk about thriving. Sometimes appearing too ambitious, society frown on that. Appearing too desiring wealth or to be rich, society frown on that. So what happens is that we underrate ourselves, undermine our ability to keep, you know, to keep functioning according to social construct. Society tells us, oh, and even people that become wealthy, as a matter of fact, I read it someplace on uh, social media this week. They were talking about Taylor Swift because she was just named Person of the Year by Times Magazine, and not everyone is happy about that. I happen to like Taylor Swift, and I'm okay with it. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm not talking about my opinion. And somebody said something about, yeah, she is successful or wealthy because she sold her soul or something to that effect. And of course, I don't think in terms of, I'm thinking, sold her soul. And, of course, they said she sold her soul to the devil. Well, I don't think in terms of devil because in my mind, there's no such thing. And, I don't get into all of that mindset. But she's successful and she is, gives a lot to charity. I understand she treats her employees well and so forth. So the thing about Taylor Swift, the thing that I like about Taylor Swift, she does not justify what she does. She does not explain. And she has this quote that says something like, she doesn't listen to the critics because she says the trash has a way of taking itself out, something to that effect. So I read that and I just laugh about that just because I think it's funny. But so, you know, those people that are striving, sometimes we adapt, or I should say, they adapt to social construct about, not being too ambitious or not being greedy for money and so forth. In the meantime, for those of us that think in terms of thriving, you have to have a totally different mindset. You have to know that you are deserving, number one. And also, you have to think highly of yourself. Now, social construct also tells you not to think highly of yourself. What are your options? If you don't think highly of yourself, what are your options? Think of it. What are your options? Why would you think you don't deserve it? Or things, and I'm talking about material things, and even your health. I'm deserving of good health, and the things that I want, the things that I want to do, the things that I want to have, the places I want to go. You are deserving, my friend. Why would you not think that way? Why would you not think highly of yourself? And if you don't think highly of yourself, what are you doing? Are you underrating who you are? If somebody says, who does she think she is? If I say, who do you think you are? Do you have an answer for that? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Try to answer that question for yourself, because you must know. You have to know who do you think you are? You know, Trying to get a promotion, trying to get an increase, trying to prosper, trying to get a bigger house, trying to get a new car, trying to send your kids to private school, trying to take them on vacation to Europe, trying to go to New York, to Rockefeller Center to ice skate. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Can you answer that question for yourself? Who do you think you now? If somebody says, "Who does she think she is?" You owe no explanation to anyone. Whatever they want to, whatever impression they have, that's on them. You don't have to worry about that. But if I say to you, "Who do you think you are?" You have to have an answer to that. You have to know who you are and that you're deserving. But it comes with a new mindset, a new perception, a new perspective of life, and a new perception of yourself. Like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? What is the perspective? What is your perspective about life, your life, and how life treats you? Do you think of yourself as deserving? Or do you think of yourself as um, entitled to abundance? But not, again, I'm not talking about a handout. I'm talking about you having a mindset of thriving, to thrive. So you must think highly of yourself. Society would define that as arrogance and being prideful, but that's okay. Arrogance is when you think you're better than someone else. There's no room for that. When you think highly of yourself, there's no room for that. Because when you are in a position to help someone, that's what you do. Guess what? Because it feels so good. And being able to give and to help someone else, it feels so, regardless of what it is, you give of your substance, you give of your time, you give encouragement. Talking about encouragement, that comes in different forms. I want to read something that Stacy watched my show last week, and she wrote this to me, and this was just so, it was so encouraging. I see myself as successful. I know I am successful because my motivation when I started this show, my only motivation was to really touch the lives of people, to open their eyes and encourage you to go within yourself to find the answers that you need to discover the magnificent person that you are, the magnificent creative being that you are. So that alone sets me up for success. But this is what Stacy wrote. She said, "It's not the same to only listen to your show. It is the whole experience of you speaking and all that comes naturally. That is the productivity of the show. I enjoy just taking it all in and allowing it to build me up. Thank you. It's an amazing show. I love the topics and how you bring it all together at the end." Stacy wrote this, and it if I am doing this show just for Stacy, it's worth it. It's worth it to know that I am touching somebody's life, that she's encouraged by this show, and that she likes the topics that I share, because they are just things that, social construct situations that keeps us back, keeps us shelled in, and doesn't really encourage us to just burst out and be happy and thrive in life, and to see life in its all its glory, and that you deserve to be alive and well and thriving and prospering and increasing in every area of your life. And when you start to think highly of yourself, my friend, and create your own definition. Don't worry about being arrogant, because that's not the idea. You are better than no one, and no one is better than you, because you know what? Jeff Bezos, you have the same ability. You have the same ability to create wealth. Jeff Bezos and all those folks, Oprah, all those folks that are wealthy that we look at, Tyler Perry. That I'm telling you, you have the potential. Now, your goals may be different. You may not want to become, that level of millionaire, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the point is, for me, it's not even in terms of money. If I am able to do the things that I want and to have the things that I desire in life, that is prospering for me. Now, if I can do that with whatever amount of money, then that's fine. I am not, my goal is not to be a billionaire, a trillionaire. That's not my goal. My goal is to be able to do the things that I desire to do. Doesn't matter what it costs. Doesn't matter the cost. I want to be able to do the things that I enjoy doing, to live a happy life, and to get pleasure out of life. Now, I don't know what your goal is, but I am sure that your goal is to be able to thrive, because nobody wants to live a life of striving. And you know how somebody, if they're going to get out of that mindset, that mentality? When you say, "How are you doing?" and somebody says, "Well, I'm just here trying to make it," that mentality will not thrive. People that think or saying or think that, or know that they're living paycheck to paycheck, or on a fixed income. If you have that mindset, if you have that type of mindset, it becomes difficult to thrive. Because in order to thrive, you have to have a mindset of abundance, and you have to see yourself. You have to elevate yourself. You have to kick it up a notch. You have to think highly of yourself. Highly. See yourself going off to, I don't know, Europe, Paris, London, taking a Caribbean vacation and just having fun and enjoying yourself, and be able to do the things you want. And when you travel, you have no limitations. You can go the places you want and buy the things you want. Let me tell you something. What I share, this show is about abundance, and it's about you thriving. It's about you developing that mentality of thriving. We have enough of, people living in abject situations, and it's just, so we this is for you. This is for you, to let you know that you are able to kick it up a notch. You probably already are up a few notches and thriving in life. And if that's you, I encourage you to stay the course. Stay fixed in your mindset. Don't worry about the stock market. Don't worry about your paycheck. Don't worry about your bills. Just stay focused. Get your life in order and stay focused. Plan your life. Plan a vacation. Plan the things you want to do. If you want to go back to college, don't worry about tuition. You plan it and know that it will come. We talk a lot today about manifesting. And, that's such a term, manifesting. My point is, if you desire it, it is available to you. My friend, if you desire it, if you want it, if it's in your heart, if you desire it, it is available to you. It is available to you. And you must know that it's available to you. And sometimes you have to make some changes. I find that, the friends that I have different friends, but I have some friends that are really thriving by their mindset. And, they're thriving. They're not thinking about things that are, that keeps them, keeps them underrated or undermining themselves. When people talk about being humble, and if you have to say that you're humble, then you're not humble. And this thing about humility, if you read it up, there are different definitions for humility. Humility, has to do with seeing yourself as insignificant. But that'll never be. You can't see yourself as insignificant. Why is that? Why would you even consider yourself as insignificant? Again, you're better than no one, and no one is better than you. But you have to think, you have to know. You have to know who you are. You have to know that you are a magnificent creative being. You're able to create, you're able to manifest the things that you desire, and you're to live the life that you want, to see your dreams come to pass, to take care of your family, to do the things in life that you want. So again, it's a new mindset. It's how you see it, how you see yourself. If you're living in a house that, if you're happy there, then that's fine. But if you want to fix it up, or if you want to move someplace else, know that you can do it. My friend, it's you. You have to be an active and a willing participant in your own prosperity. A lot of people, they sit around and they wait 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 and wait and wait and wait. Whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you want. If you are, if you have a marriage and you want to see your marriage thrive and and just do stuff. In fact, this morning I said to my husband, I said, I have an idea for the holiday. I said, let's go this place. And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. And we just got, it just happened spontaneously. And again, my husband has named me director of travel and entertainment for our family. So I would come up with the ideas and whatever, and then we discuss it and we agree. If we both agree, then we do it. And I love that because I like to be on the go. I enjoy going places and just spending time together, and us traveling. We both like to travel, and that's fun. And if I could only get him to agree to go to a place where there's snow, like Colorado. But anyway, that's an in-house situation. My husband loves the ocean, and I could just spend some time on the slope and so forth. But anyway, so you have to know that you can do the things that you want to do. You have to begin to see yourself. Look, first is a thought. It starts with a thought. You are hearing what I'm sharing, so you start thinking about, wow, this is the way my life is, but this is the way I want it to be. So you're thinking about that. And you start thinking, and you're thinking, and you're thinking about it. And you're thinking, and every day you're thinking, but you have to have, and as you begin to think, you are forming, you're developing, you're creating a new perception of you, of yourself. And then you'll have a new perspective about life. That's what this teaching will do. You will create a new perspective about life. Oh my gosh, I'm really deserving. I'm really created to thrive and to enjoy life and to enjoy the good things of life. Why? Because I'm alive. I'm living the best season of my life. I'm hearing this. Today is the age of information, and I can learn things and see things and do things. So you begin to think and think, and then after a while you start feeling it. You start feeling it, and you get a sense of encouragement, and you stand a little taller, and you walk with your steps are firm because you're beginning to know that it's true. You're beginning to know that it's true, and as you begin to feel it for yourself, feel that you are deserving, feel that life and abundance and prosperity belongs to you, feel it, that increase is yours. Begin to feel a new life, a new perspective, a new outlook, a new outcome. You begin to feel it, and you will start acting differently. Now, the people around you will see the difference because you will start acting, behaving with a lot more confidence. Why? Because now you're totally convinced, you're totally persuaded. Now you know. You were not created to strive. You were created to thrive. And as you continue to just muse on those thoughts, and see, with me, I shared last week that I am visual. So when I, like we decided this morning, okay, we're going to do this. I am visual. And I create things, I get pictures, I do this, do that, the reservations. I do all of that because I'm visual and it works for me. I look at it and I see myself in this situation. I see myself on that boat, whatever. I see myself here. I create these images and visualize them in my mind. I go to bed and it just happens. And what happens is that all that information, my thoughts, my emotions, my feeling, all of that is channeled to my subconscious. And the subconscious, if you study it, my friend, you will realize that the subconscious, all it does is goes to work for you. It goes to work for you, good or bad, right or wrong. It goes to work for you. Whatever thoughts that you embody, it goes to work for you. If you think in terms of resources, it's going to go and produce resources in your life. I've come to where I have become a magnet. My husband is the same. I'm like, gosh, you just, people sees him and he has such favor with people. People like my husband. And when they meet me, then they like us as a couple because we complement each other. We're both social and we're confident and, we like people and, we're great conversationalists and we know how to, navigate in any social setting. We can navigate. You become a magnet to the things that you want, but you've got to change your perception of yourself and know that you are deserving. You start thinking highly of yourself, thinking that you deserve it. You know that you are a good employee. You know that you deserve, raise, increase, promotion, whatever you decide, know that you are deserving. You must know that. Again, not belief, because this belief thing is, I believe so, I believe so. No. When you know, it's a whole different channel. It's a whole different channel. And then you start to align yourself, align your thoughts, align your emotions, align your feeling, and don't get distracted by either naysayers or people that are doubtful, that live in fear or doubt and unbelief, and they're not sure, and just people that are just not supportive to your narrative, to your ideology for yourself, because it's for you. It's like what I share for you. I don't share what works for me. I may share that with you, but I'm not telling you to do that. I'm saying to you that within you, there is a chip that works for your abundance, for your prosperity, to thrive in life, and to have a good life. There is a chip. That's why when I talk about having a journey of self-discovery, is to, and the chip is not lost. And when I say self-discovery, it's not because you're lost. You're not lost. You just need to remember who you were before you had all that programming and conditioning, mental conditioning, programming, and indoctrination. Before you had all that, you have to go back and remind yourself who you were. You remember when you were a little kid? You didn't have a care in the world. You were happy-go-lucky. You were happy-go-lucky. Happy-go-lucky and had a great time and, just did stuff and just, there was nothing that you were worried about. But then comes all this thing about life and this kind of stuff. Anyway, about life and problems and people saying things like life is hard. And, if you think life is hard, guess what? That's your fate. That's your FATE. That will be your fate. Life will be hard if that's how you see it. I don't think life is hard. It can be challenging. And all of us are susceptible, to life. Life can happen to all of us. None of us are exempt from things happening. Things happen. I just don't think in those terms. You go out, you hope, you think the best thoughts. If I have to go someplace, I think, I'm gonna go there successfully and do what I need to do and come back, and I will be fine. That's how you think, because your mind is thriving for always experiencing the best out of life, the best situations, best circumstances, best events for you. And you have to think that for yourself. Don't, when people give you all this the 10 keys to this, the formula to this. That's for them. Get your own, because what you have in here works for you, my friend. Works for you. That's what works for you. That's your chip. You know, I my phone, my husband, we, sometimes he's like, oh, please update my phone. And he gives me his phone, or please download this or whatever. I cannot take his phone and open it by facial ID. Why? Because his is unique. I have to put the code in. And if he takes my phone for whatever reason, he has to put the code in. Why? Because my Face ID is exclusive to me. It's exclusive. It is unique. It's just for me. And yours, if you have an iPhone, I don't know what the other, Android, Google, whatever, Samsung, if they have Face ID, but it's exclusive. I cannot even try to circumvent anything. All I can do is put the number, the code in for it to open. And that's the same with life. And you know what the beautiful thing of it is, my friend? When you find out that you have your own, it's like you finding out you have your own mining well, your own mining ability, you've got your own gold, you have your own stash of money. You don't have to, depend on someone else's shovel to get your life together. No, you've got your own shovel. You've got your own shovel, and you can do your own thing, because it's your life, and it's your chip, and it's your mind, and it's your emotions, and it's your feelings. And once you've got all of that, in your mind, and you just know who you are, you know that you are deserving and ready to thrive, then it puts you in a state of just relax. You become so relaxed. You just want to relax, because it's working. It's all, again, it's a mindset. That's why you don't have to strive. You don't have to strive. It's a matter of thriving, my friend. It's thriving, not striving. And when Stacy wrote this to me, it encouraged me, because even though in my mind I know this show is successful, you know, and again, when I started this show, my motivation was to be able to, um, I do life coach individually and so forth, but I wanted to share to the masses. And I knew that this would allow me the opportunity to do that, so that I can, influence folks like you that take the time to listen, to kick it up a notch, and to think of yourself highly. Doesn't matter what social structure says. You think highly of yourself. Absolutely. Yeah. You think highly of yourself. What are your choices? What are you going to do? Underrate yourself? Undermine yourself? Your achievements, your accomplishments, what you do, who you are? Who decides that? Who decides that? It's like when I say this show is successful, that's by my standard. And if Stacy was the only one watching this, which I know she's not, it's worth it. It's worth the money that I invested in me for the training to know how to navigate through all this thing. And and I'm still working it out, because I want to do some fancy things with the show and the intro and this and that. And so I am kind of working on that, so that, but this is like my 6th month. And the other day I went back and I was looking at some startup shows, and it's just a disaster. But that again, that is just me. Sometimes we can be hard on ourselves, or set the standard so high, and then we can. So anyway, in my mind, it was like, not a disaster, but compared to the things that I know now and the confidence that I have now to talk into a camera and to address you and to almost reach out and touch you and give you a hug and to shake your hand and so forth. When I started back then, it wasn't real to me, but now it is. I can see you, you can see me, right? Per se. I know you are a virtual audience, but the energy, because you sense my energy and I feel your energy because you don't have to be present. How do you think I get so wound up? Because I know you are watching. I know that. And I'm encouraged by that. So I'm going to wind down with this. I want to remind you, my friend, to think highly of yourself. Think highly of yourself. Think that you are deserving. And to get a new perspective of life towards you, and then a new perception of yourself. Get a mirror, stand in the mirror. You don't even need a mirror. You just talk to yourself and you just, in your mind, you just embody your own narrative about yourself. But make sure it's high enough where you walk with a posture of knowing who you are. So if somebody says, as a matter of fact, ask yourself that question. You ask yourself that question. Who do you think you are? I have. Like, who do you think you are, Cynthia? What do you think I'm doing this? Because I've asked myself that questions. What do you think I think the way I think? Because I've asked myself that question. Who do you think you are, Cynthia? Who do you think you are? And because I know who I am, it's easy for me to come to you and bring you this information because I would love to see, when you have that type of perception of yourself, it's easy to look at someone else with that admiration and you start looking for the good in all situations. You start looking for the good in people. You start looking for the other day, this week actually, this we had an outlet that went out in our garage, so we had to get an electrician in. So we called this company. It's a big well-known company and good reputation and so forth. So he was scheduled to show up between 8 and 9. And I just remember this because my husband asked me to write a review, and I love to write reviews, especially if the service is excellent. So the guy, Logan, he called 30 minutes before he arrived. He called at 7:30, and he said, "I'll be there at 8." At 8 o'clock, he rang the bell. Now it's between 8 and 9, so that would have been fine if he came at 8:15, 8:30, whatever. But he showed up at 8, and I was my husband takes care of all that kind of stuff, and I was sitting in my family room, and I was having a cup of coffee, so I didn't really want to be bothered with all that. So he comes and he goes into the garage, but when I saw him, I saw that he looked so crisp. He looked so clean, and he's wearing a company uniform, but he looks so crisp. He's a technician, and sometimes some technicians they show up and they don't all look alike with their uniform. But Logan was so crisp looking, so I'm not talking about pressed shirt, but he just looks so clean. And those are things that kind of gets my attention. So he goes and he fixes it and he fixed everything that needed to be fixed, checked all the outlets and so forth. So by the time he was done, he came into the house and he had some things to share with us. And he was sharing with my husband that, some upgrades that we can make, to get a new box and so forth and all that kind of stuff. But he wanted to engage me and he saw me sitting over there. I was comfortable. And he got the clue, that I didn't want to be bothered as far as, and he says, I'd like to explain this to you both. And, my husband got close to him and so forth. And, and he got the message that I didn't want to have to get up and just So anyway, he explained it was very clear, very precise, very articulate, and courteous, all of that. My point is this. So I had to write a review. My husband asked me to write a review, and I did. Google review. And I had so many good things to say about Logan, about his, his approach, his courtesy, his kindness, uh, him being punctual and giving us a heads up when he was on his way, and how he was so precise in explaining and so forth, and articulate, and just a pleasant person to do business with. And when I was, I uploaded it to Google, and I said, I hope Logan, well, I know he's going to read it, but I said, I hope Logan thinks highly of himself. Because you know what? I do. My husband and I, as a matter of fact, we discussed it. And I said, wow, I said, he's just got a good presentation. And, and as a matter of fact, we said, if we choose to install a new box and blah, blah, I said, will we get you, And why? Because he made such a great impression that we wanted to get him again to come and service whatever electrical needs that we have, because he made such an impression. But see, it was easy for me to I mean, and I was not making things up. There were factual things. He was punctual, he was kind, he was courteous, he was articulate. He was just, he was smart, intelligent, and the way he explained, the way he gave the presentation, it was so clear. It was crystal clear, no questions. And then he left. But my point is, I kept saying, I hope he thinks of himself the way we think, or we thought of him, that he thinks highly of himself, that he's a professional. He knows his work. He knows the things that he needs to do. And, he's got good people skills and so forth. So that's what I mean. And, people that don't think highly of themselves, you always find them on a couch, judging others, being critical, complaining, and so forth. Why? Because, that's all they see, the negative. That's not you, though. That is not you. So I'm going to leave you with this, my friend. Think highly of yourself and know that you are deserving. Get a new perception of who you are and a new perspective of the world towards you. Why? Because you are deserving of a good, abundant life, to prosper and to increase in every way. I'm going to say ta-ta. I'm going to thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next week. In the meantime, have a fantastic weekend. And, the holidays are coming up. Happy holidays to you and your family, and whatever you choose to do. Again, know that your season, is the best season of your life. So, hasta luego, adios, and we'll see you